Hi, this video is intended to help all of you gain or regain some of the ankle mobility that we have or that we are lacking at our foot and ankle. So our ankle primarily does this motion here. We have dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. And a lot of us have plenty of plantar flexion, but we can be limited in this motion here where your foot comes up towards your head, called dorsiflexion. So if you look, a little anatomy here, this is, unfortunately for some of you, this is actually what we look like underneath, except not plastic. We have this little bone right there called the talus, and the talus works in this fashion so that we can gain dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. There are other joints involved with this motion, and there are also a lot of muscles involved with this motion. But to simplify all of this, today we're just gonna look at dorsiflexion and how to get more dorsiflexion so that when we walk and we land on the ground, our heel will strike the ground and we can roll through our foot versus landing with a flat foot on the ground. Why? Because this is how some of our balance dysfunction happens. It can also lead to a lot of other issues like plantar fasciitis. That's why it's colored red there. And then other things like Achilles tendonitis. It can travel up and cause a few other problems further up the chain. That's not to say it's the only cause for these pathologies. It's not. The body is more complicated than that. We're not going to cover that in this video. This is just all about getting your ankle to move a little bit better in that direction. To stretch your ankle using a wall, you'll lean back to get your bottom of your foot as high up the wall as you can. I like to wear shoes here, especially tennis shoes. It will pad your heel, so it won't be as painful if you have hardwood floors like I do. Then you're gonna rest the ball of your foot against the wall, and see how I'm kind of pushing with my back leg. Push with your back leg to get more dorsiflexion here. And you'll set a timer. Right now we're gonna hold this together for a minute, but at home I'd like you to do this for 2 minutes. Now, as you hold the stretch, you're gonna feel more and more of the stretch happen back here into the gastrocnemius. That's not your whole calf. You also have another part of your calf muscle down here called the soleus. That one does not cross the knee joint, so to get to it, we're gonna do that stretch after this. And all it does is it requires you to bend your knee a little bit. So the first part of the stretch, your leg is straight. We're holding for 2 minutes. And you can hear my phone ringing because I'm at my office right now. I'll answer that later. Then you're gonna bend your knee. Okay, so now we're bending and holding, and we'll feel the stretch happen in a slightly different place. If you're really limited with your ankle mobility here, you're not gonna get much of a stretch at first. You have to hold it for a little while, and at about 30 seconds into this, you'll feel it more, and you're gonna feel it lower, closer to your Achilles tendon. Your Achilles tendon is where both these muscles meet up and they attach into the heel. Believe it or not, this is all continuous with the plantar fascia on the bottom of your foot, so getting your foot up the wall like this will help stretch some of the other fascial structures there. So if you have plantar fasciitis, this is also a good stretch for you. And we're holding, breathing, just noticing things. If something hurts when you're doing this, where you don't feel like that generalized stretch that's more diffused over the area and you start to feel like a very specific pain, back off the stretch a little bit and see if that helps. Might be that you need to do the other version of this stretch and release, let it go. So I mentioned another version of the calf stretch to get more ankle dorsiflexion. Here, you're going to take wide step, kind of almost like you're gonna do a lunge, right? But your back leg stays straight, your front knee's gonna bend. And it's the back leg, the heel needs to be down on the ground, your toes need to point forward. So don't let your toes fall out to the side here. You wanna keep them pointing forward, and you're holding. Again, we're using the wall here just to support yourself. Some people watching this video may have difficulty with balance, so you've got the wall here. We're holding. You'll notice that this stretch isn't as intense as the version with your foot going up the wall. And we're searching for a nice gentle stretch that goes throughout the whole calf. Again, it's the back leg getting the stretch. If you don't have your heel down on the ground, you're not going to feel the stretch. If you don't have a large enough stance, you won't feel the stretch. And then version 2, where we get to the soleus, we're going to bend the back knee, and then that stretch moves further down, closer to your Achilles tendon and your ankle. Now, what does it mean if you feel one stretch over the other? Probably that you're a little tighter in that region than the other version, that you don't feel as much. Again, the version with the foot up the wall, you're going to feel that gastroc stretch more. This version where your foot is back and you bend your knee, you're going to feel this soleus stretch pretty much right away. The version against the wall with your foot up against the wall, it feels a little awkward, but you have the wall there to protect you and then also keep your balance in check. Okay, so you can just double check to make sure your heel is down, your toes are pointing forward, because if your heel comes up, you're not going to feel it. Where you might feel it is in your knee. PAILS and rails for ankle dorsiflexion. So now that we've done our stretch for 2 minutes total, we've done it in a couple different positions. Now we've got a little bit more mobility. We want to keep that mobility. And in order to keep that mobility, we want to train the strength at the end range. So in order to do that, it's very simple. It's a series of isometrics at the end range. So we've got the end range dorsiflexion. You want to hold it and lift your foot off the wall and keep that range. So now a lot of work has just begun. You want to hold this for about 10 to 15 seconds. And then you're going to rest your foot against the wall and then gas pedal your foot. So now I'm pushing my foot into the wall. So we want the strength in both directions. Ready? Lifting off. And the more you contract the rest of your body during this exercise, the more you're gonna get out of it. So what that means is maybe you wanna hug the muscle down and firm the muscles up on your legs. Now we're gas pedaling again. Tighten your belly, tighten your arms. Get everything to really work here. Ready? And lift the foot up off the wall, hold. Ready? Now, gas pedal your foot into the wall. It doesn't look exciting, but when you do this, you're gonna feel, oh my gosh, this is actually quite a bit of work. So visually not exciting, internally very exciting. And remember, keep everything tight. Firm the muscles up on your thighs, firm the muscles in your belly. Ready? Lift your foot, hold. So we're doing this for about 2 minutes. And again, the goal is to keep that dorsiflexion in your ankle. Ready? Gas pedal down, push. That dorsiflexion is so critical when you're going downstairs, when you're walking, when you're landing from a jump, squatting. It's a very critical range of motion that a lot of us forget about or really take for granted. And then if we lose it, it can really affect everything from the ground up. So now we've worked on gaining that end range strength. So it's time to strengthen through the whole range of motion. This one's best done at the edge of the step. You'll come up on your toes and then slowly go down into that dorsiflexion movement and come back up on your toes. Noticing I'm doing this with both feet. We're going to do 20 of these total, so we've already done 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Please keep pace with me, okay? Try not to speed up through these at home. 9, 10, halfway there. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, last one, and 20. Good, take a break. You should feel. Okay, single leg calf raise variation. This is a progression from the previous exercise. You do this if doing both legs feels easy at a slow, controlled pace. So this one will look very similar, it's just I'm on one foot now. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, halfway there, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, last one, 20. Good, and you're done. Stepping down to work on dorsiflexion, alternating each side. Here we can integrate also the alignment of how the knee moves over the ankle. So here we're getting an active dorsiflexion in a functional exercise. Notice I'm not letting my knee cave in, okay? So I'm keeping that control. You can do this off a book or a block. I'm using steps because functionally that makes more sense. So if you have a staircase you can practice this exercise on, great. Notice we're taking our time here, really feeling those muscles that gain that dorsiflexion motion. And this is a closed chain activity, meaning my foot is down on the ground and my body's moving over it, versus when we're walking, this is an open chain, we would land like that. The open chain dorsiflexion being the foot touching down in front of you, the closed chain being this leg. Open chain, closed chain. Open chain, closed chain. Let's do 5 more on each side. Slow and control, watch your knee. You get a nice bird's eye view of yourself when you look down. With my knees staying in line with my second and third toe as I step down.
or has my knee kind of drifted off towards the midline more, which we don't want. We get that control from the hip, from the pelvis, from the gluteal muscles. Check out my gluteal isometrics series if you want to strengthen those muscles. Okay? And